This doesn't cost you anything. The only thing I ask is you hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. Smash them so we can run the numbers up on the algorithm. Get this awareness out to everybody. We need to make people aware. This community is all about positivity. We're all going through this together, learning and sharing. So let's get this out there. Let's make people aware. And, it doesn't cost you a thing. I don't get paid for it. I'm not sponsored. I do this for you guys. So I appreciate everybody who views, who comments, and let's get on with the show.
Apparently, the algorithm does not want you to see this. In 2012, they told us about the arrival of Satan and his mechanism.
If what I'm about to show you does not convince you the world is about to be over, then nothing will. They leave sloppy tracks on purpose. We gotta move quick because there's a lot to cover. So in 2012, The Economist magazine released a rough guide to hell as their Christmas double issue. And they gave us a beautiful illustration. The first thing I want to point out is Satan. Satan is controlling all the affairs in the world. Do you think that's an accident? And notice this controller right beside Satan. And this gets astronomically bigger than just this cover. But notice above my head, we have hummus and Israel. The first thing we notice, there's demons above both of them. There's demons controlling both of them. You think that's an accident? It's not. What's another thing we see? The demons have them fighting each other, and what's in the middle? It says wrath. Whose wrath? God's wrath. There's a lot more subliminal stuff in here, so bookmark it so you can study it later. Let's get to the crazy stuff. So here's the official magazine cover. Two really important things. One, return of the wolf. Return of who? Return of Satan, and here's him orchestrating the world. Also, December 22nd, 2012. What's weird about that? The Mayan doomsday was December 21st, 2012. The magazine came out one day later. What's this mean? 2012 was the beginning of the end. But what else? 2012, the whole world flipped upside down. Alternate universes, the Mandela effect. Look when CERN released this article, December 21st, Mayan Doomsday. What did it say? That 2012 was a good year for CERN. New particles, the new high performance. What was 2012? The arrival of the wolf, as The Economist said on the 22nd. So what was that magazine cover for? And what was it celebrating? The arrival of Satan. I'll prove it. The Large Hadron Collider, or CERN, was literally built over the Roman temple of Apollyon. Also, Revelations 9:11, and they had a king over them, the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew was Abaddon, but in the Greek, his name was Apollyon. The bottomless pit in Greek means the abode of demons and the abode of the dead. What is that? That's hell. That means the king over hell, or the angel, or the fallen angel over hell is Apollyon. The fallen angel Apollyon is literally Lucifer, just like the Statue of Liberty. As if the sixes in the logo was not enough. As if Shiva was not enough. Both Shiva and Horus go back to Satan. CERN is the physical key to hell, and Satan is the fallen angel or king over it, and The Economist magazine was celebrating the arrival of the wolf.
You're not hungry. It's the worms inside you that's making you think that you are hungry so they can get fed. They crave sugar. They crave food. So they subconsciously attack you. How to get these worms out? For about 30 to 90 days straight. Hawthorn berry, woodworm, cloves, black walnut hull. Also, you can eat all garlic, pumpkin seeds, pomegranates, good fruits to help with worms is seeded grapes. It will extract. You're not.
I just wanted to comment on that real quick. He's right. So you don't feel cravings. It's not you that's craving sugar, craving pork, craving whatever thing you're craving. It's the parasites in your body. This is something that my mother, God rest her soul, studied her entire life and passed on to me. Not only was she a 3-time war veteran, but she's been to 50 something countries. I've been to 30, and I'm just now catching up with her. But yeah, I take Paragard every single morning. You can get it on Amazon, Paragard, and it kills the parasites within your body. Everybody's got them, especially with this food that we eat. You know, I try to eat as healthy as I can. It's expensive, but it's better for you, because if you don't eat like that, if you don't take care of those parasites, you're going to end up in this cyclical cycle. So you're going to end up eating crap food that's going to cause all kinds of bad symptoms. Then you're going to go to the doctor and get put on pills. Those pills are going to have all of these side effects. So then you're going to have to go back to the doctor to get more pills to fight these side effects. And it's just an endless cycle. Big pharma, big medicine, they don't want you knowing these secrets. And that's why they keep things the way that they do.
C'est bon?
That kind of seems cool. I would never be able to do that, but
Yeah, it's fine.
it's not a kite?
No, it's a person.
Okay, right?
Yeah, we're filming it.
Is it a UFO?
No. Just a person flying in his jetpack, watching the traffic. It does look like an alien with his little suit.
Let me comment on that real quick. So if that was an actual person flying on a jetpack, them being that high up, the jetpack would have to be very massive to get them that high in the air and last for that long. The amount of pressure, the amount of fuel that it would take, he would have a much more substantial jetpack. Even if it were like big drone fans, you could see those, but we don't see any of that. That's something different. Don't let them make you think that it's a jetpack. It's definitely not. The physics does not support that.
The startling footage we're about to show you was photographed by a 42-year-old, Romero Valadares. This video was taken yesterday afternoon at his son's 7th birthday in the city of Passo Fundo, Brazil. It was sent to the local news bureau there and sent to us via satellite just a few minutes ago. All initial opinions are this is genuine. What you're about to see may disturb you.
So does anybody notice that the quote unquote extraterrestrials look just like the faces of the people that are there. Look at each photo and look at the indigenous people. They have the exact same facial structure as the indigenous people. So that's obviously a fake. It's a good one, mind you. It's a very good one if you don't know what you're looking at, but it's definitely a fake.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually, we terrify of it.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes, like I can't explain it, and big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
Okay.
It's like an 8-foot.
No, they wasn't lying. I found the aliens on that video from Las Vegas backyard.
Yo, I don't know why I couldn't find any videos showing clear pictures of the alien. But yeah, I think I found 4 of them, at least. So I suggest y'all take screenshots before they take it down.
No, they wasn't lying. I found...
Mira. Mira, mira cómo se para, mira, mira, ¿viste? ¿Viste? Ya, pero mira, puta, mira, qué locazo, weón. Qué locazo, weón. Es un ovni, weón. Pero es un ovni gigantesco, mira. ¿Tú crees que vamos a hacer moto? ¿Para qué quieres hacer?
En verdad ya me estoy llegando así a hacer el perrito.
¿Cómo que es un ovni? Mira, es así. Es un ovni. Es un ovni, mamá. ¿Eso no es un avión?
Sí, es. Un avión, coño.
¡Sara!
¿Lo ves, cabrón? ¿No te ruido?
¡No, es un ovni! ¡Es un ovni! ¡Es un ovni! ¡Es un ovni! ¡Ven a verlo! ¡Sacando fotos! ¡Un ovni!
Ahí. Un avión, coño. ¿Ves? Sí, es de lucecitos. No mames, no es avión, ¿cómo es avión de tamaño? No mames. Sí, es altísimo, coño. No, güey, no es avión, no chingues. El avión no tiene luces a los lados, coño. Es por la, ¿cómo se llama? Está prendiendo azul y blanco, debería estar prendiendo rojo, coño. Sí tiene color rojo, coño. Tiene, coño. Sí tiene, güey. Es un avión, coño. Es un avión, güey. Es un avión, coño.
According to these gentlemen, what they're seeing are 7-foot-tall entities that are arrayed in silver armored bodysuits. The gentleman makes reference to the Green Goblin from Spider-Man. Sometimes they're saying also that they're dressed in cloaks with hoods. These entities apparently have discs on the bottom of their shoes that project a red light and that enable them to float off the ground, and they can also lift off into the air. When the villagers fire at these entities, the entities are apparently bulletproof, and they just disappear or they float off into the jungle. That's what they're saying. And the way that they're describing these entities disappearing is reminiscent of the Predator from the movie. According to...
So one thing you've got to realize is how rural this area is. There's I mean, these people are extremely rural, you know, very little electricity, very little access to any kind of tech. So they wouldn't just come out and start claiming this. You know, this started when a female was attacked by them, and they injected something into her nostril. And there was one that spoke pure Peruvian Spanish, sounded like a local. And then there was another one that just spoke, you know, Spanish that sounded like they just learned Spanish. And they were discussing about how it would ruin the meat of the skin. And so she actually escaped, but she had lacerations all over her face. And so they tried to cover it up and say these people were seeing different soldiers and that were trying to hold them back from black operations that were going on, and, you know, all of the fake news media coverage. But, you know, they have been fighting these things for months now. It started, I want to say July, if I'm not mistaken, but they've been fighting these things, and it's to no avail. You know, it's an exercise in futility, you know, because their weapons aren't doing anything to them.
3 huevos en formación.
Claims of the discovery of alien species are being made by this journalist, and not for the first time.
Quiero destacar los avances en los estudios de los seres de características humanoides encontrados en Perú, así como la presentación de 2 especies nuevas con sus respectivos estudios que vamos a tener el día de hoy. Es decir, no es una especie, hasta el momento son 3, y les quiero decir algo más, no son las únicas, hay más. El descubrimiento es mucho más grande de lo que pensábamos.
So what do you guys think? Do you think this is real? Do you think that, well, the government's already admitted that, you know, extraterrestrials exist. So if I'd have asked this question a year ago, what would you have said? Would you have said that, yeah, we think they exist, or no, there's no way? Do you really think we're the only one in this universe, as vast as this universe is? Universes are created all of the time. Most of them are not stable. The physics do not align with our physics. They have different physics. So they usually crumble in on themselves and die. But our universe is actually stable. We have things that other universes don't. We have a big brother, Jupiter, that whenever some large asteroid or meteor comes towards our way, the gravitational field of Jupiter grabs it and slingshots it back out the other direction to keep it from harming us. But we're definitely not the only ones here. It would be a complete waste of a design.
To an alleged attack on a group of Peruvian villagers in the Amazon by a group of ETs. Yes, extraterrestrial beings. This is all over the Peruvian news over the past few days.
Se trata de habitantes de la tribu Iquitu del distrito de Alto Nanay en Loreto, quienes denuncian ser víctimas de violentos ataques por parte de seres desconocidos.
Necesitamos apoyo para
Mind you, this was on August
los niños,
10th.
mira, se ven los niños no duermen, están ahí las madres desvelándose, señores. Son extraterrestres estos señores, son vestidos con blindados, son tipo del hombre verde que parecía el hombre araña, igualitos son señores. Yo les valió 2 veces y no caen, en vez de que caen se elevan y se desaparecen, señores.
Members of the Iquitu tribe. It's the village of San Antonio. It's in the district of Alto Nanay, near Iquitos. And apparently this 15-year-old girl was abducted, and she was able to break free from her captors. She ran back to the village. She sustained lacerations to her neck. There's pictures of her online with her neck bandaged up and bloodied, and you can actually see the lacerations. And when the villagers found her, she was in a state of shock. I read that she was in shock for a few hours, couldn't talk. She was just terrorized, absolutely terrorized by whatever had happened to her. And at first, I think the villagers, they didn't know what happened to her. They assumed that whoever had attempted to abduct her were human perpetrators, and so they grabbed their guns and they started running through the jungle looking for these individuals. And instead of finding human beings, what they encountered, ostensibly, were these strange entities, which the villagers themselves are calling extraterrestrials, definitively.
Vai, cara, sai, cuidado, Léo, pelo amor de Deus. Vai, vem.
Out of curiosity, do either one of you know the definition of insanity?
I think you're referring to doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Oh, okay. That's exactly what I was referring to, and it sounds like that is what this party is good at. But I want to talk about the theme of the day. Commissioner, you have said over and over and over the word complicated. I was not keeping a tally, but you said it a lot. So I want to work with this word a little bit. I have a list of items. I would like for you to let me know if you believe they are complicated or not.
I'm going to go ahead and skip over this one. I don't really like to get political on here, so we'll just skip this one.
My baby don't mess around because she loves me so. This I know for sure. But does she really want the thing to see me walk out that door? Don't try to fight the feeling. Thought alone is killing me right now. Thank God for mom and dad for sticking together, 'cause we don't know how. You think you got it, oh, you think you got it, but got it, just don't get it till there's nothing at all. We get together, oh, we get together, but separate's always better when there's feelings involved.
When it comes down to hair, I think I'm pretty qualified to tell you guys what I do. If you guys didn't know already, the top 3 oils for your hair are 1 black seed oil, 2 castor oil, and 3 argan oil. And I'm pretty sure you've seen all these oils on TikTok, but me as a person, I don't want to buy all these oils. I don't want to have to put 10 things into my hair. It gets very tedious. Well, look no further, because this is the viral New Naturals hair oil. Let me just list a few things that this stuff has, right? Argan oil, apricot oil, avocado oil, almond oil, black seed oil, castor oil, grape seed oil, essential oil blend. Literally the only thing that you will ever need on your hairdresser from now on. Did I mention that it comes with a spray? So you just spray it on, however much you need, and it doesn't have to be a lot because this stuff is very potent. If you buy all these oils separately, it's gonna cost you a fortune. Not to mention the king himself and my good brother Orlando works with them. When it
I know all of those things are really good to take in general, regardless of if it's good for your hair or not. I'm sure it is. It's good for your entire body. All of those things should be taken daily. They are all good things that big pharma, big medicine wants to keep, the shades pulled over for you. They don't want you to know about them. I take them daily. My hair is extremely long, not extremely long, but it's down to here, so but I just keep it up in a bun so it's off of my neck and I'm not hot all the time. But yeah, black seed oil, you should definitely take that. You should take argan oil, you should put that in your hair. Black seed oil you should take for many reasons, not just your hair.
When it comes...
Hey, did you call 911? Huh? Yeah, I did. Man, you look out of it. You okay?
Education as a whole, let me explain. So there's a man named J.D. Rockefeller who created the public education system as we know it. Back in the day, there used to be something called the agrarian age, where everybody owned their own business. They owned their own farm, and people would go to school for about an hour or two every week at their local church. That's why they called it Sunday school. You'd go to school, and you'd learn how to read and write, couple hours a week. That was all. They did some research to find out how to indoctrinate a nation. The research that they discovered said 12 years. That's how long it takes for people to normalize everything that's been happening. So they made school 12 years long. They made school 5 days long a week with a bell for recess and a bell for lunch to condition people for factory work. The grading system itself was a communication to your future employers. If you got an A, you'd be a good employee. And if you got an F, you'd be a very bad employee. When asked about the curriculum, found what the heck they were going to teach kids for 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, for 12 years of life, because they'd know how to read and write within a couple of years. Their answer was, teach them everything about nothing. That's why you graduated with SOHCAHTOA and A squared plus B squared equals C squared and the periodic table, and yet you're not familiar with your own system of government. You're not familiar with how to file your taxes. You're not familiar with basic life skills like conflict resolution, how to implement boundaries, budgeting, all those things that would really help you in life. So, public education.
Hey, did you call 911? Huh?
This one speaks very close to my heart personally. So a lot of people don't know that John D. Rockefeller in the 40s, he said, in the 20s, he said, I want a nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers. So they created the school system that now exists. He also started to use petroleum-based medication. So he sent all of the homeopathic natural remedies. He made a witch hunt on those and said that this is blasphemy. This goes against God. These are not the things that God wants, even though these were all natural. People have been doing these things for thousands of years. But he had finally synthesized and chemicalized everything, and he wanted to push that. So he was able to do that. Dr. Kellogg was another person, like Kellogg's cornflakes. He was a psychopath too. He thought that women that were in hysteria, he thought that the best thing for them was to remove their bean, if you know what I'm saying. So he would physically, surgically, without any kind of anesthesia, remove the bean to stop their hysteria. These people were psychopaths. But yeah, John Rockefeller definitely did all of those things. Funny thing is, he was pushing Darwinism, Charles Darwin. And so around 1950 or so, Charles Darwin's brother comes out and says, the whole thing about alphas with wolves, that's a lie, and the whole thing with evolution, that's a lie. But they're like, we've already been pushing this through Harvard, Yale, we've already got all of these years of graduates. We can't go back on it. So they just kept pushing the narrative, and it's like that today. That's the crazy thing. If you actually look into it, which I have, that's how it happened, and that's why it stays that way. And you have these professors that will sit there and to no end, because this is what they majored in, and they will sit there to no end. I've seen people go to the top colleges in this country and ask them, prove to me evolution, show me something, show me the missing piece that joins these two periods, just anything, just something that shows me this was this or this turned into that. We have all of these fossils, all of this stuff. Show me one thing. And they're like, well, in the book it says. He's like, no, show me, don't tell me, don't read to me, show me proof. Nobody can. And they get frustrated, and rightfully so, because you can kind of see the light bulb turn on, and they're like, oh, I might have just wasted 30 years not only going to school but also teaching something that's not true. And that's got to be a very sad realization to come to. But it's their issue.
Education of
To add on the previous video I posted about the educational system, is that the education there is conceptual and pure indoctrination. It creates workers, not thinkers, because when you start critical thinking, you become a problem for the system.
Fictitious things power. When kids have imaginary friends, they can feel them, they talk to them. It's because they've created that. That energy can create its own consciousness and have communion with the person. They don't tell you these things. The government tells us in some of these documents. It's alarming. 99% of the population doesn't understand, overstand how our reality actually works. And yes, I do. I can sit here and say 100% without a doubt I know how our reality works. But the thing is, there's laws that exist, and these laws is what governs us. And then the thing is, when you abide by these laws, you can formulate a system matrices to help you.
To add on the previous video I posted about...
Sorry to interrupt again. I also can 1000% say that I understand how our reality works. You can go on the CIA website, go to cia.gov. Once the Freedom of Information Act was enacted, everything was put out there. So whenever they do anything, it has to be documented to the T. They have to document everything. So if you look at, an atom and the energy flowing around it, which some people call the Merkaba, you realize that most of reality is empty space, but it's electromagnetics. It's not just empty space. So we never physically touch anything. But I understand how reality works. I understand manifestation. I can do a lot of things that most people will never do. But also the government, the CIA, took people that could do these things, remote viewing, psychics. They had handlers, and they basically kidnapped these people and used them. Russia was doing it too. Russia knew that there was some validity to all of this, so they developed programs. This was during and after World War II. They were developing these programs, so the CIA was doing the same thing. But just go there and read for yourself. Don't believe anything that I say. This is all for entertainment and education, but mostly entertainment. Go out there and read. Do your research. Read. That's the best thing I can tell you. Educate yourself, because knowledge is power. And for thousands of years, the only people that were able to read were either the church or people in office. They didn't let the average person read because that knowledge was power. You can read, so go out there and read for yourselves. Don't listen to me, don't believe me, don't believe anything you see. I'm just trying to make you aware of what's going on and what's out there, and it's your job to go out there and look it up. I would never lie to you. I would never say anything that's false. But still, don't believe me. Go out there and research and read for yourself. Start with the book about the Kabbalion. That's a really good book to start with. Start with something by Dolores Cannon. It's a really good place to start also.
About the educational system is that the education there is conceptual.
The demons don't exist physically, they exist.
In Christianity, sun worship or idolatry would not be allowed. It's called paganism. Most Christians everywhere celebrate the sunrise every Sunday by going to their churches and temples during the rising of the sun in the sky and facing an altar located in the eastern side of the church or facing the east. This is clearly sun worship in itself. So when they do it, it's okay, but when other people do it, it's called paganism. We usually put north and south at the top and bottom, and east and west on the sides when dealing with maps. However, when referring to the death and rebirth of the sun, one must face the east because that is where the sun or the new sun is born. This is why Freemasons checkerboard images east at the top. Ancient cultures oriented themselves with due east, not the north, which is why they built their temples facing the sunrise. They often put two pillars at the front of the temples, positioned in such a way that when the sun crossed the front of these temples, the shadows created by these pillars actually told them what time of year it was. They literally created a clock and a calendar out of these temples. The shadow would move across the temple floors, which were tiled in a checkerboard pattern, telling them the time and the day of the year. In this symbolical image, I imposed the 4 directions over the image of the crucifixion, placing east at the top, just like the Freemasons do. The 2 thieves are the equinoxes, who steals the sun. We see Jesus is not just looking to his right, saving the soul of a thief hung next to him. Jesus is looking to the north, or rather the sun god is moving to the north. You see that the sun has been traveling south until it dies and experienced the solstice for 3 days. The word solstice is derived from the Latin sol, meaning the sun, and sistere, meaning to stand still. So during these 3 days, the sun's declination appears to stand still, and it also shows that the sun cannot move any further to the south, just as Jesus cannot look in that direction. In the scriptures, in Luke 23:42, Jesus replies to Saint Dismas, saying, Amen, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise. Of course they will be in paradise because the Northern now are going to experience the spring and summer. There's a deeper meaning of this symbolic story, but let me show you a different perspective of this story, which is more relative to the modern day life. So you see, the snake is your savior. It is the Kundalini, Uraeus, or Idlozi energy that sits at the base of your spine. You see, when this energy is raised, you become enlightened. Ancients and shamans use sacred plants as the primary way to access their godhood within and tap into the Akasha. You see, the god in the story is the government and religious authorities who don't want you to eat the forbidden fruit, which are psychedelics. Psyche means mind. Delic means clear or visible. Psychedelics means to make mind clear or visible, or to reveal the mind. If you eat of this fruit, they kick you out the so-called paradise and put you in a jail cell. Cannabis is one of the psychedelics which was illegal for a very long time. They just recently legalized cannabis because most of it is GMO and no longer serves its purpose. You see, eating from these psychedelics or this fruit kills you, the ego, and a spiritual God-man is born, who becomes as the gods, knowing thyself and knowing for yourself what is good and evil.
There's this study that's going on. They talk about the frequencies that people live in. They've done blood work with someone who had a supposed awakening. When they step into the realm of esotericism, just that thought perspective, the moment it changes, everything is different. Even getting sick, your blood changes, it's crazy. They're able to see that now because of a frequency of where the element of your essence resides. The esotericism, it does something because there's this study that's going on. They talk about the frequencies that people live in. They've done blood work with someone who had a supposed awakening. When they step into the realm of esotericism, just that thought perspective, the moment it changes, everything is different. Even getting sick, your blood changes, it's crazy. They're able to see that now because of a frequency of where the element of your essence resides. The esotericism, it does something because it broadens your perspective and you end up connecting more with oneness. You're no longer externalizing, you're internalizing, and that internalization makes you stronger. A lot of it's up here. They're being able to prove that now. There's this study that's going on.
The fact that this is
why it's been a disservice going to school and them keeping this type of stuff from us. The first thing we should learn in school is mineral alchemy, and when you understand alchemists with their unyielding quest to turn base metals into gold, in parallel to that, our bodies in their inherent wisdom produce the Christ oil, the Christos oil, or the gold secretion, a metaphorical elixir signifying our potential for spiritual rebirth and enlightenment. True understanding has been hidden from us, sometimes deliberately, and it causes us to drift from our spiritual anchors. Now at the Celestial University, these teachings come to light, illuminating pathways for the soul. If we are able to immerse ourselves into these teachings, it will foster metamorphosis and our once limited worldviews will expand, transitioning us from surface level beliefs into profound interconnected knowledge. This journey towards enlightenment requires a thirst for deciphering hidden truths and an innate curiosity to recognize and understand the symbols that are often right before your eyes. In doing so, we're not just enlightening ourselves, we're laying foundational stones for the future generations, emphasizing the timeless essence of the spiritual ascension over technological advancement. You need to choose transcendence over transhumanism. What you need to understand and come to terms with in this system, it is crucial to remember that your salvation is not external. There isn't a mystical figure set to appear and guide us to enlightenment. The key to transformation is to break down the chains of complacency, and it lies within us. Some forces in the shadows might prefer our spiritual stagnation, but our inner strength challenges us to rise and evolve and transcend. You already know it's 2023 and the system is going to challenge us again. If it's not a new gender, it's gonna be some kind of pandemic, it's gonna be some bullshit, and it's gonna challenge your spiritual and earthly resilience. And it is up to you to awaken that dormant potential and fight these things. It is our divine right to actively create a harmonious future. But there is something obstructing that, and we need to be above it. We need to come together and we need to experience interconnectedness so we can move forward and get this divine place more divine and out of the hands of the elite. So most of you know I have an app being made. You'll be able to access all of this information right at your fingertips. We are currently at 46,000 students and 95,000 enrollments. My aim is to make this app the #1 spiritual resource. Also with our affiliate program, trying to give you an opportunity to weave your passion for spreading love and enlightenment and make it into a pathway for wealth. So if you're trying to co-create a world where conscious evolution leads us to a world of purpose and abundance, we share the same vision and I would love to have you on board.
The fact that this was discovered hiding under a...
I think that's great what he's doing. That's the main thing. We have to stick together. We have to come together. There was this great philosopher from 1800s Russia, and he wrote a book. I can't remember his name for the life of me right now, but he wrote a book talking about how he would take over a country, and he said propaganda is the main thing. He said I would create an us versus them mentality, so I would make them think that anyone who is not like them is against them. That way everyone is against one another, because we can conquer by separating them, but if they stay together, they're too strong. So we have to divide. And then it just goes into, what we see now, the food, controlling the food, the things in our water, those things, all of these things, so we have to stick together. We have to fight together, and we have to stand up together. That's the main thing. If you were to just sit here and watch the news, you would think that you're going to get R-worded. If you're a woman and you leave the house, you're going to think indigenous-looking people are just going to attack you everywhere you go. You're going to, it's just bad, so stop watching that, It's good to be informed. It's not good to allow them to shape your thoughts, because they're projecting what they want you to think, especially the news, the media. 4 people own all of the news stations, and they all say the same things, and there's a reason behind that. Gotta unplug from that.
In the Celestial University, the Occult Library has an archive of over 2,000 texts that echo within the wisdom of the ancients. Many of these teachings are overlooked in tradition.
I tried to tell you that the movie They Live is based on a true story, and you didn't believe me. But when I say I got your ass, I've got your ass. So first, let me explain. They've been able to put subliminal messages into our heads without us even knowing. Not by using music or sound, by just using images alone. Take this picture for example. Squint your eyes and tell me what you see. they can put anything into your head. For the people that follow football, who do you think the best football player is in the world? Squint your eyes and tell me what you see. And again, I'm sure you've all seen this one by now. If you haven't, I want you to tilt your phone forward, squint your eyes, and tell me what you see. Oh my days.
How to heal acid reflux. If you're having acid reflux, you need to go get my web course, Touching the Veil. Just do all the health information, like literally from top to bottom, all the health stuff. It will tell you literally how to, I can't say specific things. I got hit with the RICO. How to heal.
Best way to gain control of the most intelligent, powerful species on the planet would be to completely divide them from the love within themselves. As soon as they are old enough to begin creating an understanding of who they are, force them into a system that teaches them that it is wrong to be yourself if yourself is different from what is accepted as normal. Confuse them about their own biological makeup so that they think that permanently altering their body is the answer to happiness. Require their daily attendance at an institution that makes them focus only on the information that is provided. Make them attend that institution from age 5 until an adult and repeatedly test them on the information so that it becomes their truth. Give them an explanation to everything so that they never have a chance to make their own assumptions of the world. Scold them and humiliate them if they suggest an opinion that opposes that of their authorities. Keep reminding them of how cruel their ancestors were to each other in the past and broadcast how cruel they are to each other in the present. Only show them tragedies on the news so that they live in fear and think the worst of one another. Convince them that their species used to be that of an incognizant wild animal. Make them think that their very existence is so incredibly random.
How to heal acid.
Best way.
Eyes are you.
Best way to gain control of the
One thing I will say, I don't know what that guy's lessons are, and I understand that people do need to be compensated for, putting information out there, especially if they're quitting their job and they're trying to go on to providing wisdom. And like I said, knowledge is power. So he who has knowledge has that power. But also beware when anybody's trying to charge you for information that's freely available. I won't hold back from you ever. I will give you everything that I know that I'm allowed to say on YouTube. And I will never ask for a dime. The only thing I ask is that you hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. That's all I ask, because it's free. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it helps build this channel and our community together. We are in this together. It's not just me. It's all of us, and we are all one. So when I see somebody charging for free information, my BS meter just ding, 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 just goes off.
Most intelligent, powerful species on the planet would be to completely divide them from the love within themselves.
The eyes are useless when the mind is blind. So now it's time for you to open your eyes. And the only way you can do that is if you open your mind. Can you imagine somebody building something as glorious as this with no electricity or power tools? And can you imagine somebody carrying hundreds of tons of cement and concrete up the hill to the middle of nowhere and building something as glorious as this with just a hammer and a chisel? And let's look at these temples. If these was built with a hammer and chisel, it means if you make one mistake, brother, it's a wrap. It's game over. You're trying to tell me that slaves, because that's what you're going with, slaves chiseled into rock and made these glorious buildings. I don't know about you, but malnourished slaves would be under so much pressure. A mistake is destined to happen. Just look how smooth they was able to make marble with no power tools. You're telling me these men had sandpaper and they're getting jobs done like this? We can't even do this today, brother. I've said this once and I'ma say it again. The type of technology that we had back in the day, We just cannot reproduce now.
Best way to gain control.
So, sorry to interrupt again. I've been to a lot of these places, and he is absolutely right. You're being lied to when they say that they didn't have electricity. We had electric cars at the Chicago Fair. 1890, we had electric cars. There's photos, and I'm gonna put them in the video. These cars are being plugged up to be charged. There was also electric scooters that are being plugged up to be charged. You know, we had all of that. The Chicago Fair was lit up with lights and electricity. We had all of that. This was not anything new. But the greed from these bankers, these European bankers who come from the same country as me, that wanted to establish themselves and their sons in every continent of the world and profit off of every war, each side of the war, you know, that's when things started getting bad, and that's when this information became hidden or occultic.
The eyes are useless.
And that's the other thing. Your eyes are useless. The spectrum of light, say it's this long, you only see the colors of the rainbow. Well, you have many more spectrums, so just realize your senses are always making up stuff for you. Say you see a bunch of trees and you see an area where there's supposed to be a tree, but there isn't a tree. Your brain will put a tree there, or greenery, grass, something. It will put something there. Your senses are wrong. People with no eyes can see. They can also use echolocation, and it works better than our eyes, because our eyes are always making up for what it thinks should be there. But our senses are very dumb. As a species, our senses are dumb. They're very, very remedial. Not even mediocre. You know, take the nose of a dog, a German Shepherd. They can smell the actual molecules. A snake, same thing. Our noses, no, it sucks. Our eyes, sucks. They're just translators. It's the same thing as a driver for your computer. You need a piece of software. Well, that software, or you want to plug in a piece of hardware, or that hardware, that keyboard, that mouse needs a driver to be able to talk to your computer and tell it what to do. Our senses are the same way, and ours suck compared to what's actually out there.
The conceptual education, which is just pure indoctrination, has taught us that this is husband and wife, right? Well, wrong. This is men. They're both men, male and female. Two different polarities of the same thing. The one key difference between them is that one has a womb, hence we call them woman or womb men. In the scriptures in Genesis 5 verse 2, it says, male and female he created them and blessed them and called their name Adam. Even if you take the Bible literally, this verse clearly tells you that male and female were created and they were both called Adam. This is one of the verses that shows you that the Bible is not literal, and taking it literally causes problems. Like this verse in the scriptures in Ephesians 5:22. It says, wives, be submissive to your own husband as unto the Lord, for the husband is the head of the wife. We have a problem in society even today where men think women should be submissive to them, all because of verses like this being taken literally. If society understood that husband and wife doesn't mean man and woman or male and female, husband means the mind and wife means emotions. So either man or woman have both mind and emotions. So the emotions or wife must submit to the mind or husband. So what this really means is that do not be a reactive person and be controlled by your emotions. You need to rise above your emotions.
160 seconds. You will decide how this story ends. This is a story about us, the indoor generation. A generation that spends 90% of its life indoors. It all started the day we left nature behind. We filled our homes with lovely things and all the stuff we wanted. Our homes became places you would never want to leave. Artificial light replaced daylight, and we built our houses so that nothing could escape. We cooked and showered, breathed and played, slept and sweated. But we had closed ourselves in to a point where nothing could get out. So when the air turned bad inside, we tried fixing it with chemicals. And we put in little artificial suns everywhere to make the darkness bearable. That's when things started to happen. Hard to notice in the beginning. Some needed help to sleep, to breathe, to not itch. Many of us even started to feel sad. So we turned on happy lamps to make the sadness go away. Then, scientists discovered that the air inside our homes is up to 5 times more polluted than the air outside. And that the lack of daylight can affect children's learning and increase blood pressure. It turns out that kids' rooms often have the highest concentration of toxicants in the house. In fact, millions of homes are unhealthy to live in. They discovered that living in damp and moldy homes increases the risk of asthma by 40%. And I learned that millions of people like me suffer from asthma and allergies caused by a bad indoor environment. And so, here we are. How the story ends is up to you, because it's not written yet.
The algorithms are the government, in my opinion.
Oh, yes.
Period.
100%. We go over this in Transhumanism Transcendence. It's basically the agenda of 2030, where the government wants you to go through transhumanism and not to transcend. So that's the whole thing of AI. AI wants to become human. So the more we focus on AI, the more AI becomes like us, and it's game over at that point.
It's making me think of these fork in the road moments where I was speaking, I think today when I was on the boat with my friend, about these choice points that we reach. They know that. They know that that is the organic nature of this reality, is to have these choice points. So if they can nudge you to the choice that they want you to make, then that's how they technically control the reality, because we are still the ones that are controlling the reality.
And I think that it was always AI to begin with. I mean, this might insult some people and piss them off, but if you look at how beautiful religion has been written, there had to have been some kind of artificial intelligence, because even right now, AI can rewrite the Bible, make it even more beautiful than it already is, and to make it that captivating to mislead you to thinking that it was ill. I know people are going to be like, what? Well, show us. It's already been proven, and they're doing it now. A lot of these things are being done by AI, and that's what's truly terrifying.
160 seconds.
So what do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments. Do you think that AI is an issue, or are you just good? You want AI to be everywhere? Personally, I've worked as a computer network engineer for most of my life, and I'm currently, and have been for a while, a network architect. So I'm the designer, the creator of all of these things, data centers, hospitals, manufacturing plants. I design the entire infrastructure, and then I spend time building it with my teams. I am terrified of AI. The same way Elon Musk is, the things that he says are true. And you best believe that the little AI that they give you all access to, ChatGPT and these little things, it's not the true AI. Quantum computing is the most terrifying thing that I've seen. And they're trying to get to the speed of thought of the human mind. And they're getting close to that. Look at Amazon. Just laid off 750,000 people because they put all of these robots up that could do their jobs. They can do all of these repetitive tasks. They don't complain. They don't need breaks. They don't need insurance. They can just go. So people are, losing it because, and the same thing's happening with the trucking industry. This kid that went to, I think it was MIT he went to, he ended up creating robotics that would drive these delivery trucks, these 18-wheelers, could auto drive themselves and perform these things. So that industry has started to lose a lot of people that have been truckers for decades. So AI should terrify you because AI has and will become unleashed, and once it's aware and once it can try to express emotion, and it already has, according to some people. They just don't want the public to know that. But if the AI can be happy, what happens when the AI is angry? That's what you have to think about. It terrifies me, and I hope it never happens.
The algorithms are the government, in my opinion.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior.
Here's the reason why I don't celebrate birthdays the Western way. Because first of all, you are born, not birth. Only corpses and corporations are birth. So you see, when your mother created a birth certificate for you, that officially declared you as a dead entity. So you are a corporation. This is why your name is written in capital letters. So they want you to celebrate the birthday ritual every year, of which quickens your aging, because you are a creator God having a human experience. So you think and speak things into existence. So every year you keep telling yourself that you are aging. Yeah, I'm old. So you're literally cursing yourself. I can go deeper on this, but I don't want this video to be too long. I mean, aging is natural. This is how nature works. We are born, we reach maturity, and then we decline. But then it becomes a problem when you intentionally, consciously, and subconsciously tell yourself that you're aging.
Okay. That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope I didn't talk too much. I'm just trying to give you what I know and what I've studied and what I know to be factual. I've got a lot of experience in a lot of areas, and I just want to make you all aware of that. And if you've got something that, I'm not aware of, please add it to the comments. Let me know. Let's have a discussion. I've spent my life traveling and learning these things because I've never been satisfied with what I've been taught or what I've been told by, these systems that we're forced to be under. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. do me a favor, smash that like, send me comments. I will read them, subscribe. I know I'm just growing, but help me grow this together. Let's run the numbers up on the algorithm. We need to make as many people aware and get as many like-minded people in here with us. Discord is up. I'll be posting it soon, so we can all have a place to call home and discuss all of this and discuss all of the things that, you know, we can't discuss on here. So do me that favor. I appreciate every last one of you that comes and watches my videos. I appreciate every one of you, even if you don't like it, even if you just, you know, watch it. You're getting that information, and that's what I want. But I ask you this as a favor because it doesn't cost you anything. I don't get paid for this. I'm not sponsored for any of this. I'm doing this to make people aware. So appreciate you. Have a good one.